brings us to our second lost fundamental, the swing plane. On page 78 of the Modern Fundamentals of Golf is one of the most important instructional images of all time. Anthony Ravielli depicts Hogan with a huge sheet of glass resting on his shoulders. Now, I want to look at this again and respectfully suggest a small change. I believe the pane of glass image was just a couple of inches out. So as you examine it, I'm going to give it a new name, and that name is the Optimum Biomechanical Swing Plane. Let's think back to our childhood days for a moment. Do you remember learning to ride a bicycle? I expect, like me, your father held the back of the saddle, or he bought you training wheels, the small wheels that are just off the ground. As we learned to ride the bicycle, we wobbled a bit. But wherever we went, we were being followed by a perfect point of balance that is perpendicular or upright. You can't expect somebody to ride a bicycle in perfect balance. I don't think even Lance Armstrong could do that. Now, in the golf swing, there's a similar principle. There is a point of balance. Even better than Hogan's pane of glass is the drawing of the Vitruvian Man by Leonardo da Vinci. It depicts a man standing erect with his arms outstretched, looking like a human wheel. It was a biomechanical drawing. Now, with the arms outstretched and my body vertical, I can function as a human wheel. I can turn back and forth, and my arms are operating in a plane. Now, in all wheels, the crossing point of the spoke and the axle is the hub, and the hub of the human wheel is the top of the sternum. You know, I could bend the spokes, I could corrupt the axle, I could tip it to any number of degrees, but one thing remains constant. The upper sternum is always the hub of the human wheel. In the way that I'm moving like a human wheel, it reminds me of the hammer thrower at the Olympics. And there is a link between hammer throwing and the golf swing. You might be surprised. I've got a small prop here. It's a golf ball on a piece of string. If I spin the golf ball from my fingertips, I'm describing a planar relationship by stretching the string into a straight line. Now, don't be confused. It doesn't matter how quickly I spin the golf ball or in what plane I do it. I can even move around and sway a bit. So in the golf swing, there's a small amount of oscillation. But don't forget, there is always a constant relationship between the centre of the wheel, my fingers are, and the edge of the wheel where the golf ball is. Here is a graphic of the Optimum Biomechanical Swing Plane. Rather than the pane of glass on page 78 of the Modern Fundamentals of Golf, this pane of glass has a larger hole that allows my shoulders to stick through. Here I am at the address position. You can see that the shaft of the club is below that plane. But already we can see the Optimum Biomechanical Swing Plane runs from the ball through the upper sternum. As the backswing progresses, of course, the shaft will rise into that plane. You will see at the very top of the backswing, the butt of the club and the whole shaft are in the Optimum Biomechanical Swing Plane. As I mimic Hogan, in this particular swing, you can see a principle that applies to all great golfers of note. At the top of the backswing, if you draw a line from the butt of the club to the ball, it will always run through the upper sternum. Intriguingly, at the completion of the follow-through, the butt of the club also hits the Optimum Biomechanical Swing Plane.